Walk-ins just happening now. Welcome. I hope all of you can hear me, those who are online. Streaming is live, right? Anybody on the okay, muted. No, that's next. Good morning, everyone. I'm Prashant. I'm the CTO and founder of Thinking Code. First of all, thank you for making time this Saturday morning. I know you must have had some other plans, but hopefully this will be time well spent. Before we go into the seminar sessions, I'd like to start with a story. It's my own story. I started my software development career in the year 1995. Many of you may not have been born at that time. It is a small software development company based in Pune. And shortly after I joined, I got an opportunity to work on my first software project, real project. Not a college assignment, something that involved real users. One second, I'll just admit everyone. Something that involved real users, actual deadlines, and real consequences. And before I knew it, it went into production and the system crashed. I don't know if are you familiar with that feeling when something that you worked on, you push it on a server, goes live and it crashes. And you realize that nobody, absolutely nobody is coming to save you.
Pause for a minute, there are people on the YouTube stream. There's a small problem. Just take a 1 moment.
Debug that application. Or what happens if, one second. Waiting. Sorry. You ask them to debug the application, no idea. Which is where, we said that, okay, something has got to be done about this. Because this is not what we have seen. In Thinking Code for the last 14 years, what we have seen is one fundamental principle that everything starts with the basics, your fundamentals first. AI comes next. And this is the reason why we have, sorry, please welcome. This is the reason why we have started this module here. We start our curriculum with the fundamentals. You learn everything the hard way, the way actual software gets built. You get into data structures, you get into algorithms, you look at full stack engineering, there are real deadlines. And at the end of that, once you have mastered the fundamentals, at the end of that, we introduce you to that thing out there called AI, right? Because one thing you have to realize that nobody will tell you, this hype cycle that is out there, where people are claiming that Claude Code does this, Codex does that, and there are all these open source models that do a lot of great things. What they don't tell you is that AI will amplify what you bring to AI, right? And if you bring strong foundations to AI, if you bring strong fundamentals to AI, wow, then there's magic. I've seen people with, just like you, maybe fresh into your career, build applications that have taken, in my days, right, 3 months, 2 to 3 months to develop. I've seen some of the newer generation folks vibe code it and go live in one morning. Okay, that is true. But I've also seen the other side. In Thinking Code, we see it every single day, which is that if you come in without fundamentals, if you come in with half understanding of what it is, then you will see that AI amplifies that also. AI is an amplifier, that's what it is. You've heard in engineering, I don't know how many of you are electronics, signal and noise, these are two things, right? AI amplifies both. It amplifies the signal, that means your foundation, if you're great, it amplifies that, right? But if it's noise you bring to AI, then God help you. It is going to amplify your noise as well. Sorry. So, what I want to do today is to divide this seminar into 2 parts. Okay. The first part we will address the current landscape. What's it looking like? I'm sure you've been hearing a lot of conflicting stories. Jobs are going away. AI is going to make programming jobs redundant. You may hear things like AI is increasing productivity. Some of you will hear that vibe coding is the only thing that is needed. It's all over. So in the first part of the seminar, what we would like to focus on is what is the actual landscape looking like, okay? And finally, how it maps to you all as a career moving forward, because there are some things that all of you need to be aware. It has changed. The landscape has shifted dramatically. So what is that change? And once we go into that, today live we will create an application which all of you would be familiar with. We'll do it using AI, just to give you a feel of what the newer generation of programming looks like. Newer generation of programming looks like. And then we'll open I think there is also a quiz. Yeah. And then we'll open the floor to questions. We can go over any questions that you guys may have. So before I start any questions, I think we've still got people joining. We'll give them maybe 3-4 minutes before they can join, and then we can get going. Live stream is okay? So can you all just give me a background? What are you guys? So are you engineering, technical graduates? What is it? We'll just go across the room. You.
My name is Parichay. I study management in Manipur. I study at Dapli. I'm from a government background. I've coded a few applications, but nothing majorly.
Okay, okay. What about you?
So my name is Pooja Rajput. I'm a recent graduate in humanities and I'm looking for career.
So you're looking to get into the technical field. Okay, okay.
Hi, my name is Aarti Rajput. I'm a recent graduate. I'm a
So looking into the AI field. Excellent. How about you guys? First year BCA. Okay, okay. Excellent. What about you? BCA. All right. BCA. Okay. A lot of BCA folks.
My name is
BCA itself, first year. Excellent. So first year students are now getting into serious programming. Great. What about you? BCA. Oh, full gang is BCA. BCA. All right. You? Excellent. Excellent. Superb. Electrical. Okay. Superb. So is anybody else waiting on the live stream, or how many have we? Live stream stats, anyone? People have joined? So shall we just get started, because it's already 9:20. Yeah? Yeah. On zero. Connect. All right, folks on Google Meet, can you see my screen? If one of you can confirm, that will be great. Did we get?
Yes, yes, you are audible and visible.
Excellent. Thank you, Lakshmi Narayan. All right. Okay. Some stats for all of you, and a little bit of bad news. Some of what you've been hearing in the social media and in the news channels and everywhere is good. I think you should also join Google Meet and admit, because I can't keep. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Fine. Okay. So yes, the landscape has shifted, no doubt. Right? 27.5% is the decline in traditional IT jobs since 2023. Right? 5.8 million people in the organized IT sector in India, okay? And many more in the non-organized sector, like consultants, people who are not really a part of the larger software companies. So it's definitely more than 7 million people, right? 23 onwards, there has been a decline of 27.5%, and that is very, very true. We'll get into the details of it in the next couple of slides, right? So that is the bad news, and that is the only bad news, because from here everything is looking pretty good. What does that mean? 143% surge, okay, in the last year alone. That means 2025. I'm not even saying last year. 2025 onwards, there's been a 143% surge in AI engineer related roles. And I'm sure you will relate with this. If you look at any of the job posts that are there on LinkedIn or Naukri.com or any of these sites that you take a look at, it's there everywhere. It's AI engineer, AI safety engineer, AI prompt engineer, AI this, AI that, right? So while there is a decline in what is known as the more traditional programmer jobs, okay, there is a solid increase in demand for AI engineer roles in 2025 alone, and this is just the beginning. Let me just add some more folks. I guess we'll have to do that, but yeah, it's okay. 9:23. Now 7 minutes we'll admit and then we'll stop. All right, sorry guys. So 143%, and I said this is just last year alone, and it's increasing. We'll get into that in a bit. Another statistic which is very worrying for especially the Indian industry is that 46% of US workers use AI and related tools to do their jobs. 46%. Do you guys has anybody used ChatGPT, Codex, Claude Code, anyone? Claude Code? Claude Code? That's great. Yeah, all these guys have as well. But what it means is that earlier, if you remember, the Indian software industry itself was governed by the fact that India has great brains and our rates, charges that we were having were on the lower side. But what happens if anyone in the US or anyone in the European countries have access to that same thing, that edge that we call that we had is gone, right? Which means that there is a huge gap today in the Indian IT industry where we are now sitting and watching the world move forward with AI, and we are sitting, on the sidelines, and that is not something that we want, or rather you guys also should not want that. So let's look at two paths for excuse me. Okay. So let's look at two paths that are emerging, right? Which is your standard coding and maintenance kind of tasks. First of all, are you all aware of what kind of job a software engineer does? What do they do? BCA guys, do they teach you that when you get a job, what are you expected to do? Yes. Right? Which is, okay, I'll tell you about me, right? I'm one of the older batch of engineers, right? When I started, okay, either you take an application and you maintain it, okay, or you get a new requirement and you hand code it, right? And for either you knew what it was, or you'd go to Stack Overflow. How many of you know Stack Overflow? No one. Or we'd go Google search and some code snippet will come up, cut, copy, paste, put it in there and do it. Have you done that? Any of you? Yes. I've done it. And I'm sure some of these engineers also here have done it. Right? That's the old path. No access or no use of AI systems, LLMs, no Codex, no Claude Code, nothing. So you're essentially competing against AI tools. Okay? Then there is this new path which has happened in the last 2 years, I would say. Okay, and I've been in this industry now for the last 25 years, and I'm telling you, in the last 2 years, the change has been more dramatic in the last 25 years combined, right? Because there is no more routine coding and maintenance, zero. So tomorrow when you guys graduate from your technical courses, electrical or BCA or humanities or anything, right, non-technical, nobody is going to expect you to write routine code. It's gone, right? Gone are the days when you could take one problem, client has given you a requirement and say, I'll do in 2 weeks, or I'll do in, even 1 week. Not acceptable, right? Why? Because as you will see, you are competing with AI now, right? Stack Overflow, Google does not cut it. You can be much more productive if you know how, right? In satisfying that requirement in half a day or less than that. We'll try and build one application today in right? And these applications are not toy applications. These applications are real applications. Will be deployed in one click. People can use it. Rate limiting, security, database, everything is done. So what does that mean? Your new path, there is no sitting and coding. There is only direction. You are directing an AI or an LLM as to what you want done when you are coding, right? Then there is the AI augmented, yeah. Come again? Screen is not shared. Oh, sorry, let me share my screen. Okay, sorry guys. Folks on Google Meet, if you're feeling neglected, please ping and let me know, because we are doing live streaming plus Google Meet at the same time. So if you're not able to see the screen, or if you're not able to hear, or any such issues, please send me a message on Google Meet and we'll get that sorted. I hope you guys can at least hear me. Right. So coming back to the new path, you're directing agents, right? So what has happened is, all the guys here in this call today, okay, they are coming from an expectation of what coding used to look like in the past, but that entire model has changed, which is now known as AI augmented development workflow, right? How do you inject AI into the standard SDLC? All of you familiar with SDLC, software development lifecycle, BCA students? No. Well, that is the standard way in which a software project gets executed, right? Software development. So there's a requirement document, then there's a specification document, then you take that specification document, you break it into PRs, then those PRs get executed by the team, then there's a testing, right? What has happened now is that in the old path, this was all manually done, right? In the new path, nothing is manual. Everything is directly augmented, it's called, with AI, right? And that is a new path. What else does the new path need? We will come to this point in a bit. Strong fundamentals. I think in my initial part of my conversation, I did mention that you amplify, or AI amplifies whatever you bring to the table. And now it has become even more critical that you know your fundamentals when you're implementing something using AI. We'll pause here and just focus on the opportunity explosion and why it matters to all of you. And why it matters to all of you right now, because on one side, you've got entry-level jobs that are going down, traditional entry-level jobs. And on the other side, there's this huge opportunity explosion, right? But you need to equip yourself with the right skills and the mindset for doing this. I'm just summarizing. Explosion in AI engineer roles across the board, right? You have to be prepared. Prompt engineering, how many of you know what prompt engineering is? Okay. So prompt engineering is nothing but talking to AI, right? But just like there are effective communicators and not so effective communicators, right? What does an effective communicator achieve when he or she is talking to someone? The intent gets communicated clearly, isn't it? So if you're effective in communication, that gets communicated. Prompt engineering is all about how are you going to communicate your intent to an AI agent, right? That job, that role has seen a massive expansion of about 136%, right? Any job post today, including the ones in Thinking Code, we hire a lot of AI, ML engineers. And if you look at what our JD is looking like, the job description is looking like, dotted with these keywords, right? And at this rate, if it goes, we are looking at a huge increase in the software market here, in the development market in India. Another, whether you are all aware of the salary situation are you aware what is the general salary situation in the software industry today? If not, here is just a comparison, okay, and this is, we have taken data from NASSCOM, we've taken it from Global AI Jobs Barometer and all that. So on the left you have your global US centric things, okay. AI engineer average salary, right. The skills premium for if you have an AI skill as opposed to a standard traditional skill is about 25%. And that applies to even in India. So when you're interviewing, if you can demonstrate that yes, I've done AI augmented development and what I can do for you is demonstrable in terms of productivity using AI, 25% straight off, right? If you look at the salaries, and this is something I know that even we also have a similar structure, fresher AI ML salary is about 5 lakhs to 12 lakhs, that's a range depending on what you've done, right, what kind of projects you've done. Mid-level is at about 15 to 25 lakhs per annum, okay. Senior AI roles, we have seen it go all the way to 40, 60 and then some. Because what's happening is, you are not measuring the productivity of these people. Thinking Code education, okay, right. So this is the scenario, right. Traditional engineering jobs on one side are coming down, software engineering roles are becoming more and more restricted, but AI, if you are bringing into your story, if you have portfolios where you can demonstrate that you've done these kind of projects, you are looking at 15 to 20% plus it's increasing year on year, it is not decreasing. So what is in it for India, right? If you look at the Indian context, like I said, 5.8 million engineers are there in the current market, and every year more are getting joined, right. So the opportunity for us is that if we augment our skills with AI, it can lead to a massive boost in the overall throughput of our industry. And at the same time, if we don't leverage this, if we still do not have the advantage in terms of software development capability over the US market or over the European market, then our advantage is gone, completely gone. So this is the right time to get plugged into this ecosystem, and I can't emphasize this enough, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you are getting into the decline phase of IT jobs, right? Because fresher hiring has gone down for other jobs, your traditional roles, but AI hiring has gone up actually. Recent news, IBM has increased their fresher hiring for AI roles by 300%. I don't know if you've read that, and that is very real, right? Salary premiums, very true, right? And the other thing that we have seen, even in Thinking Code, what we have seen is, because these are very niche skills and because you are able to get this kind of a high level output, options are opening up where you can work from India, but you are working for US based companies, even as a consultant. I know many consultants who are based right here, but they earn in US dollars, right? Because one, AI has made collaborating very easy. Your code can be checked in from anywhere, right? And those kind of hybrid options also become open to you if, and that's a big if, you seize that opportunity and get into the AI augmented workflows. Just add one more person. Okay. This is another thing that I have seen change. In 1995 when I was trying to get into the software industry, the kind of questions that I was asked as in my interview are very, very different. We're very, very different from what employers are looking for today, right? So earlier, what do you think was critical for a person looking for an IT job? What was critical? First thing would be marks cutoff, right? Many of these campus placements have a thing saying, okay, you have this cutoff, only then you can appear for this, or only then you can even sit in front of me, right? Then once that happens, what was the focus on? Okay, give me an algorithm that, or I don't know, data structures, familiar concept, right? The question was how much of syntax you know, how much of algorithms you have studied and put it in your head, right? That was the focus. In most interviews, that used to be the focus, right? But, and I can tell you, this is even in our interviews that we conduct in Thinking Code, it's shifted, it's pivoted completely. The first thing that we need and we look for when we are interviewing is what? Communication, right? And we just covered a point earlier about why communication is so critical, right? Because earlier you used to program in zeros and ones, it was binary, right? Then we went a little more high level and we became assembly. We must have done assembly coding. Electrical engineer there, she must have definitely written assembly code, right? I don't know, microprocessors and all that. So you have zeros and ones, you have assembly coding, and then we got the high level languages. We got Javas and these, C, C++, the Javas, the Pythons of the world. They are high level languages, what they call, isn't it? But in a few slides I'll show you what a prompt looks like. And what does a prompt look like mostly? English. Prompt is English, right? And what determines the success or the failure of a prompt is the clarity of intent, right? I mean, you can write a prompt and generate an application today. Like if you open Claude Code and say, give me a beautiful looking application that does XYZ, we'll get it in an instant, right? But you will see that that is not going to cut it in production when the system goes live, right? So today looking for are very unlike what employers were looking for even 2 years back, right? Communication, leadership, creative thinking, business acumen, and all of this is what I call the human edge, right? That's what you bring to the table. Like if you are talking about an insurance domain and you've been working in this industry for 14, 15 years, what do you get? Expertise, right? Opinions. That's what you get. And that edge, right, of how you are going to communicate with the AI in an opinionated manner, guardrailing it so that it does not, create trouble when you push it to production. That is the key thing that employers are looking for today. right? What next? What is the edge that an engineer who can use Claude Code or Codex or Augment or all the cursors and all that out there, what is the edge that that engineer has over the ones who don't? Right? We talked about AI augmented workflows. When I joined, building an application that involves databases, front end and this thing would take minimum 2 to 3 weeks. And even today you can still choose to do things that way. You can, right? But what if the other guy comes around and says, I can do this in 15 minutes for 70% and the remaining 30% I'll give you in a day. You have that advantage. In one shot, you have compressed the timeline of that task. You have given them outcomes, right? And clients only want outcomes. It's like they want rice, but they don't care about the monsoons or the fields or the conditions there or anything. They just want the rice. So this second part of it is super critical now. AI fluency. How do you integrate AI into your workflow? And that is something that we have taken very seriously in our stream, but with a difference. We don't give it to them right at the beginning, right? I've known an engineer who built a web app and deployed it on some Vercel or something. And he said, sir, can I give you a demo? I said, fantastic, right? And while he gave the demo, we all know Murphy's Law exists, right? Crashed, system crashed. Just add these people. Is there anyone waiting or? Okay. Add people. Alright. So, yeah, the system crashed. And smart guy, actually the engineer himself is pretty smart. But then I asked him, why is this working? Why is this not working? What's the problem? How do you fix it? How do you debug this? Right? No answer. Why? Because that's where the third part comes in, because it was developed without foundations. And we've gone over this point where AI just amplifies what you are, and anything multiplied by 0 is always a 0, right? So if you come to the table with your fundamentals, right? You have done your research, you know exactly what your application should behave like, what it should look like, then yes, with all the above two parameters of communication and AI fluency, you are the engineer that employers are looking for. And always remember this, right? We are hearing that Claude Code or Codex or OpenAI, they all have superpowers. But in my mind, language, and that too our language, English, is still the original superpower. English or any other spoken language. Because even today, you have to remember that what these AIs are trained on is what we give them. It's what we've created. And that is still the medium that is used when you are communicating with these models. I'm just repeating this again and again and again, you might think. And I'm doing this because nobody will tell you this. Everybody. And now, just to go over this, I'm sure many of you would already know it. There are these 5-6 new roles that have emerged in the last 2 years. They didn't exist earlier. And they are all, even in Thinking Code, what I'm seeing is over the last 2-3 years, our hiring itself has gone about 50% this way. The entire, billing models that we have evolved over the last so many years, that has undergone a change. And these are the engineers that are affecting this change. What is an AI engineer? Anybody knows? AI engineer, anyone? Build AI powered applications, and there are so many applications that are getting built day in and day out, right? And AI itself is enabling that, because nowadays, and we'll introduce you to one guy that has done something with his passion. The second one is prompt engineer, right? Take a domain, instruct the models, get a specific task done in the most efficient manner, right? Because what does AI do? I mean, I don't know whether you know it. AIs are a probabilistic, or the LLMs are a probabilistic entity. If you give the same prompt twice, the LLM will give you two different outputs. It will never ever give you the same output, because they are probabilistic in nature. So what is a prompt engineer's job? The prompt engineer's job is to ensure that despite that probabilistic nature, guardrail it, give it the track, give it the path, so that you can get a high confidence when the LLM executes that task. And what are some of the tasks? I don't know if you have seen the use cases that are emerging now, right? Copy, paste a resume, give it to an LLM, generate a summary, give it a claim insurance document, completely go through it, extract all the content, triage it, and give AI suggestions on top of it. All of these are getting possible. These use cases earlier would take so much of time, so much of effort to create. Components come, the robot picks it up, looks at it, 4 hours a day. There is no 4 hours a day. There is no man in the middle unless there is a human in the loop. There is a escalation. No man in the middle unless there is a human in the loop. There is a escalation that too many items are having a defect, flag it. That too many items are having a defect, flag it. Like that. It got pushed on YouTube. Some people commented. Next day, 24 hours later, that guy went and asked Gemini, okay, Gemini, because YouTube belongs to Google and we all know they're training the data from there. They asked Gemini, is this a hoax? No. Gemini doubled down and said, no, it's not. It's true. It's true. To an NGO, build real projects, and that is a valuable skill, because what are you focusing on when you're building a real project? You're taking a problem space that you're passionate about, and one sec. Okay, you're taking a problem space that you're passionate about, and you're solving a problem in that space. Means you are no longer a traditional programmer, are you? No. You are thinking in terms of solving a problem. You are thinking in terms of a system, right? You are thinking in terms of a design, and that is being valued more than, hey, did you get any, what is it called, supplies here, right? Or did you get a GPA below this or greater than that? I'm not saying don't get those grades. You definitely focus on grades, focus on your studies, but without fail, build a portfolio, right? And in that portfolio, demonstrate your AI augmented development skills, period. When we first started using it in my company, all my engineers were sort of hesitant to admit that they were using AI, right? Why? oh, because, it means that I'm not needed anymore, right? No, time out on that. That is not the way it works. Now my engineers, I can see them do things in a morning that would have taken them 2 to 3 weeks, but they still focus on the design, the creative part of it, and the 10-20% where their opinion counts, right? So engineers get to focus on what engineers must do in the first place, right? And thirdly, in your projects, don't just put it on GitHub, right? There are tools out there that allow you to go live. In fact, we'll demo one today that allow you to push it out there, right? And it is so easy, right? Razorpay is a commodity for payment gateway. Sign up, create a thing, put it out there. I would say the best way to learn AI augmented development is to use it. Not too much time, spend 30 minutes on a Saturday, 30 minutes on a Sunday, 1 hour a week, it's not too much, right? But get it out there, get it live, so that when you walk in for an interview, all you got to do is, okay, leave this on the table and walk out. Companies will come after you, okay? Fourth thing, industry experience, mandatory. We've got about 89 interns currently plugged into many projects that we are doing, and there are 9 more that we are waiting on. But they are all working on real life projects, right? So just like you put effort during your semester and your exams, I would say get into a company, get into the industry side and put in effort and learn the domain. Because with that domain, you will see shortly how much better your prompting and your communication with the AI will get. Yeah? I won't bore you much longer. Action plan, guys. Master the fundamentals. No escape from that. You may escape a little bit by doing vibe coding and putting stuff out there, but guaranteed that if you don't have the fundamentals in production, you will get caught out, right? Calls will come at 2 a.m. in the morning saying, hey, this is not working. Users will complain. You will have people get in and get out of your site. You don't want that. Learn AI augmented development. That is a non-negotiable part of the future engineers, right? Because you can do your full stack, you can do all of that, you understand the fundamentals, but you cannot compete with code generation when an AI is involved. You can't compete with these tools anymore, right? But you should know what it outputs. If you don't know what it outputs, it will trick you. Yeah? Build a portfolio that ships. Guaranteed. No exceptions to this rule, right? And finally, and in my mind, I still think this is the most important thing, you develop your human edge. It's the one thing that will differentiate you from any other entity, including AI. Develop the human edge. Read great books. Tell wonderful stories, right? Learn to narrate clearly what your intent is to the AI, and that I'm telling you will really help in this new generation of engineers that are needed to take this to the next stage. And that's all I had in the first part of it of the seminar. In the next section, we'll just give you a preview of what AI augmented development looks like. We'll try and build something similar to what all of you may have used, and we'll try and do it in 5-10 minutes, and hopefully you can test it out on your phones as well once we are done with it. So before I do that, any questions, anyone? Google Meet folks, any questions? Okay, I'm getting a couple of thumbs up. I'm assuming that means that there are no questions. Nothing here? No? Okay. So let's get into one thing here. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Live stream you can't?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, excellent. What is this? Can you guys at the back see? Okay. What is this? Anyone? How many of you know Python? Right? This is a code that one of our engineers wrote for an agent framework that we are developing. It's in Python. Okay. Now what is this? And this is one file in that entire framework, by the way. Okay. What is this? I'll just add this guy. This one looks like English to me. You are building the front end for Folio Forge, a portfolio generation platform demonstrated live in an education seminar. Students and graduates log in, walk through a guided onboarding wizard, answering questions about themselves, and the platform generates a stunning shareable portfolio page. This is, believe it or not, this is programming, right? And if I just take the first part of this code and I put it in Claude Code, or if I put it on Codex or any of the AIs out there, they will generate a passable application that looks like this. They'll do it. You're all familiar with LinkedIn, right? This is my profile, okay? So it's got a profile thing, it's got some title, it's got an about section, it's got some recommendations, it's got my experience, education, skills, and things like that. So what this is you're just telling the AI that, I want to build something like a portfolio page, right? And you can stop at this. You can stop at this first two paragraphs, and you will still get an output. It will still generate an application for you, right? Because that's how large these frontier models have become. But what is the catch with that? When you just give it a high level, like I said, build me a beautiful portfolio page. What is the problem with that? And that's where vibe coding level 1, needs to go up to a level 3 or a level 4, where your fundamentals come into play. And that's what the rest of the thing is about. You see this? What are we doing? We are giving it, just like in the older software development lifecycle days, a technical architect would sit and create a PRD or a product specification and say, this is the architecture. The technical lead would come in and say, this is what I should be doing. If you see here, this is very important, guys. You will see that you are now guardrailing the generation. You are saying that, okay, I want this stack. Because maybe you only have Node.js engineers, you don't have Java engineers, right? What if the system generates a Java backend for you? Problem. It will work, but you won't have people to support it. So I've said everything about the tech stack that needs to get built, right? Then look at my earlier, I don't know, design firms, right? So we used to have these design consultants who would be brought in, and they would be the people who would say, okay, the color, font, logo, this, that, it has to look like this, it has to have a certain structure, right? What have I done here? Design direction, right? And I've said it very clearly. Typography, headlines are enormous, expressive, demand attention, spaced. What is the dark mode, light mode thing? The application default is a rich, deep, dark theme. This is where the communication aspect comes in, right? Imagine you don't know how to communicate effectively. How would your description look like? Can you go into this level of detail? I think not, right? Spatial drama. What does that even mean? I mean, these are terms that typically designers use. And that's where, you know, the prompt engineering role that I was talking about, how critical that has become, right? Only a prompt engineer or a person who knows the nuances of developing an application of this nature can write something like this, right? Motion philosophy. This one, every transition is intentional. Page loads use staggered reveals, right? And you've seen it in great applications. If you look at some of the fantastic user experiences out there, you can go, you can make a list of those things that you like and you want it in your website. You can just tell it what to do, right? And this is programming, where earlier you would have a front-end team, a back-end team, a technical lead, a QA engineer, all of them sitting and discussing that this is how it should be built. Now we've got, you know, one guy, one prompt engineer who is comfortable with the stack, who understands the nuances of developing an application like this, just going in and writing the spec. Then next is what? Public routes, landing page design specification, what the landing page should look like. You can avoid this, and we've tried it. You can say landing page, just give me a landing page that looks good. There will be something it will do, you will still see a landing page. But whether or not that landing page meets your requirements or your company's requirements, that will depend on this, right? So let's just build it out. I think I will share. So what I'm going to do, guys, is that at the end of this seminar, for all those who attended, I will share the link of the GitHub repo with you, right? I would recommend in your own time, get the prompt out, run it, generate the application, push it to any platform and then just try it out and then play around with it, right? That's the goal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly run the application. Let's go there. So I'm going to bring up Claude. Okay, and run the CodeGen. So this is where everything has changed. I mean, earlier for running a shell script, or if you wanted to start an application or bring down an application, you'd need to go and do manual things. But with Claude Code, this is just completely, you know, handled with English, natural English. Okay, so the application is starting. Let it get built. You guys want to do that quiz thing while this thing happens? Okay. So is there a link? You send it to me? Where is it? Email. Send a thinking code, right? Where have you sent it? Thinking code or not received? Oh yeah, seminar quiz link and QR code. Got it. So can you guys just scan this, please? First prize is a 500 rupee Amazon gift voucher. Is that what we said? Gift voucher, yeah. Scan it. ലൈവില് ഉണ്ടോ? അല്ല ചാറ്റിൽ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ടോ? എത്ര പേരുണ്ട്? Folks on Google Meet and live, have you sent them the link on live? Live stream also you have sent the link? Oh yeah, okay. Everybody please scan this. So you can send them the message on live link saying please scan the link. And announce the price also please. Just a little bit more motivation. We'll see what this is happening. Yeah, okay, this is still building. All right. Scanned, everyone? Is this a technical quiz? Or yeah, okay. Oh, this is a fun quiz, guys. It's not just technical. So, oh, it's a combination. How many people have joined? You want to stream the quiz thing here? Connect your laptop, please. Here. They are all seeing. You can share your screen on the. Yeah, you can share the screen on the this thing. Google Meet also, so that they can see who's winning. Should I participate? No? Out of it, sure. We can keep it there, no? എത്തുമോ അത്? അല്ല നമുക്ക് ടി വിയിൽ കിട്ടുമല്ലോ അല്ലേ? ഓക്കെ. Sorry. Come again? 17 people have joined? 18 players, okay.
The stream is still showing. Now it's on.
ഏതാണ്? ഉണ്ട്, okay. All right. 12 questions, guys. 20 players are ready. Add them?
Add the device list. Then they can share it on the
Which device?
add this laptop on the list, and they can wear it as well. Because that is the audio is coming from your laptop.
Oh, okay, okay. He's already joined Google Meet, right? Yeah, he can share it on that. Okay, are we ready? There also. Okay, 5 minutes, guys. There are people on the live stream also trying to join. What are they? Hey, please don't share it. The answers are getting streamed. Only first one. Okay. Everybody gets one question right. Okay. Number of players have gone down. 17. Oh, wait. Someone is asking in the Google Meet also. Hridya, Google Meet ഇതാ ചാറ്റിലിട്ടോ? Wait, I think I have that link. I've sent in Google. What? Then you have to give me the link. Okay, I got the link. Chat. Wait, I've sent the link to Google Meet as well. You hadn't shared that, no? So I've just given them this is the one, right? Yeah, but then you connected this, right? So the screen got unshared, no? Yeah, now they'll join. We have about 29 players, people there.
Basically, your real life. Some people are from that you won't
ഈ ലിങ്ക് വർക്കിംഗ് ആണല്ലോ. ഇല്ല, ഞാൻ അയച്ച ലിങ്ക് വർക്കിംഗ് ആണ്. ഗെറ്റ് റെഡി ടു പ്ലേ അവിടെ വന്നല്ലോ. ലിങ്ക് ഓക്കെ. ഇറ്റ്സ് വർക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ മീ. QR code Google Meet ൽ അയക്കാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. No, it doesn't matter. 10:22 start. This is rubbish. Okay, guys, get ready. The faster you get it, more points, huh?
Let's go for the next question. Second one.
in the second round, the top goes to Badusha. He is the fastest to answer the question. And now we can start with the third question.
Which car? Is that the question?
Try to answer so fast.
Appear to be generated by AI. Yes.
Yes, the third one, the particle is leading the. Now let's go to the fourth question.
Yami knew that?
So Niklaus is leading in this. The next question, fifth question.
Must be on Google Meet, I think. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, 9 people got it right. Oh, that's nice. It leveled the playing field a bit.
Still Niklaus is leading. Yeah, Adri is fastest.
Hey, the screen is big. Huh? Now the PPT shared. That doesn't matter, no? They can look at it on their device, right? You just put that. But this is gone now. No, it was the 9th one, 8th.
And he's the fastest. And the next 9th question.
This was there in my presentation, this answer. So a lot of people were listening, I think. This also I had, I think, in my.
Still axionized.
Last question? Oh, last two, okay.
Still axionized. Niklas is the fastest. And the last question.
AMK, wow.
The winner is AMK.
Who's AMK? Figure it out. Okay, so the winner is AMK. I don't know who AMK is. Yeah, can AMK? Oh, okay. Adarsh MK. Congrats, Adarsh. If you can share your email ID, we'll send across your 500 rupee Amazon voucher. Congrats.
Thank you.
So it looks like you were listening to the seminar because a lot of the questions were there and answers are there in my slide. Yeah, please share your email, okay? All right, let's just take a look at our application now. I think it's, oh yeah, sorry. I'll just connect my system. Okay, just going to start the server. Oh, it is, no? On cheyana. No, it's shared, no? Yeah, that I will. It's this is the app. Just increase the size of this. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it up on my local, and then we can push it to. Okay. So if you see this application and you look at the prompt that I had given about the design language, about the title to have been bold, all of those finer points, okay, it has created out here. See, I said, I don't know if you read the prompt, I talked about the ability to download PDF of the profile, right? Normally, just writing download a PDF profile in a normal software development life cycle, it involves evaluating different PDF tools, whether you want to use PDF-Kit or PDF Filer or whatever. But what has happened now is that because I said I wanted to have that download, yeah? Huh? Oh, Google Meet, sorry. Entire screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen on Google Meet?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just I'll just repeat this, right? So this is the application that we have generated now, and we are running it on localhost. Okay, and if you remember the prompt, I'll just go back to the prompt briefly so that you can look at what I have said and what it has done. You can look at the the typography aspects of it. Okay, and these are things that we have learned with so much trial and error. You can see typography first. Headlines are enormous, expressive, and demand attention. You can see that here, right? And normally, how would you do this? For those of you who have been working on CSS and all of that, they'll have to look at the font, select the font size, look at the color, select the size, give the transition behavior, all of that. What has happened now is that we've just given it a guideline as a design principle, and it has gone and implemented it. Then you can see dark mode default, right, is a rich, deep, dark theme, not pure black, but layered darks with subtle warmth, right? Backgrounds in this color and this color, borders in this, and you can see that that's what it has created, right? And if I want to now change it, I want to say that, hey, I want to add one more feature where there is a dark and light theme switcher, and here is my description for the light theme. It will go ahead and do that for you, right? And this is not just built the front end, it is also built the back end. So if you look at let's say I'm trying to go to Prashant dashboard. See, I talked about creating a step-by-step profile intake form, right? So that I can fill up my my profile picture. I can give my headline, my description, career, experiences, certifications, everything. So we can just quickly just build this, and or what I'll do is we'll push it to production, and then just we'll share the link. Let all of you guys can try it out. Okay, there may be bugs because despite having this level of specification, there could be things that the AI has not considered, and that again is where your expertise comes in, that okay, now tweak this gap, close that gap, as opposed to earlier where you had to hand code those gaps. Okay, so let's go to Vercel. Go to So how many of you used Railway or Vercel for your testing? Okay. What do you use Vercel for? Hosting. So what we've done is we've created something called Railway deployment for the backend, and for the front end we use Vercel. So your front end is deployed on Vercel and your backend is deployed on Railway, which is a containerization kind of a service. This one, I think. Okay, deployment is successful. Let's go to okay. I'll just share this link with you guys. Just you can create your own portfolio, sign up and create your own portfolios and share it. Do we have any seed data that we have created in the DB? If yes, I can. What is it? Your account, Sainath? What is it? You can just come and type here. So we've already created one account, seeded the data. You can create a similar one. Okay. So if you see here the profile that was generated, this is what it looks like, and I'll share this link with you. Please try it out, and I will also share the GitHub repository with you guys. Take it, play around with it, and build something out of it. So who's got okay, can you also put this link in the live stream also? So you can download the PDF, you can preview it in different themes. So even that has been created, see. So you can do an Obsidian, which is more like a dark theme of the profile, or you can do a Arctic kind of a thing, which is more of a light blue kind of a theme, or you can do Ember, and you can set it and you can publish it. So these are all these finer points that I was talking about, right? So when you are designing these kind of applications, you are not limited by anything. It's your imagination that you can use to guide how the application evolves. And all you are doing is you are telling it very, very clearly what exactly that you need to build. And where the human edge comes in, or where your knowledge comes in, is in those guardrails that I was talking about earlier. where you are saying that no, I don't want to take this design choice, I don't want to take this tech choice, I want it this way, right? So today you will see that there are a bunch of guardrails in there, even in the prompt that I will be sharing with you, but you can always make it better, right? Because I probably haven't thought of things like what happens if 10,000 users hit the the URL at the same time. Will it crash? Most probably it will crash, right? But to save you from that crash, what do you guys need to work with this, right? That's where your experience comes. That's where your knowledge, your foundations, your fundamentals come in. So you would implement a rate limiter saying that same IP address cannot hit this more than 5 times a minute. Done. Right? So you're limiting. The onus is now on the other guy to prove that I'm not spamming your endpoint. Right? So work on this. I think what I wanted to share with you guys is one structure, right, which you can build on top of any kind of app. If you want a different stack, go to the guardrails, change it, put Java, Spring Boot, done. Your backend is done. You want Angular, do it. If you want a mobile app, choose Flutter or React Native, it goes there, right? So what I wanted to show, and I hope it is clear for you, is that programming has changed, right? It's all down to what your passion is. Like if somebody could be interested in music, somebody could be, and I'll invite one Gen Z here. He's my son actually, but he is passionate about sneakers, right? And he came with the problem of, hey, I want to do something in this space. And earlier, for someone like him who's taken the commerce stream, there was no option. He had to sit and learn some technology, learn the fundamentals, and it was hard. But nowadays, it's not like that. If you are passionate enough, if you have the patience to understand the domain, what you are working on, if you have a clear vision of what your application should look like, right, and the ability to communicate, you can build wonderful solutions and push it out there. And I think you should build it. At this age, you guys, build at least one application, push it live a month. Just do it. Build that portfolio, ship that application. It could be like some, very, very minimalist thing, but it will help you think in terms of outcomes, right? So I think that's about it. Parichay, if you can just come and give a quick introduction and maybe that application, whatever you want to show and how you did it. I think that what I want them to understand is what is the process you followed to get to this point, the failures as well as the success. Yeah, go on. We'll come back to the questions after this. Doing okay on time, right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Parikshit. As my father was saying, I'm a commerce student. I study in Manipur at TAP. I joined Thinking Code Education 6 months ago. Previously, all I'd been doing was accounts and economics. I never had.
Don't put too much pressure here, it will fall.
I never had any idea about what to do, how to code, but I wanted an idea. Right? I wanted a huge sneakerhead. So in my head, an idea came up. Why not make a website? 6 months ago, this was not possible. The application you're seeing right now is India's first sneaker application. It is semi-resale/retail website.
I made it with Next.js and Tailwind CSS purely using Gemini, nothing else. It was just Gemini Pro. I put in the prompts and over the last 2 weeks I made a demo app, which is now live on Vercel, which will eventually go for actual application eventually. What do you know that?
Okay, I'm assuming that works. Okay, so what is Sneakopedia? Imagine I want to buy, let's say, a Nike shoe. We now have India's largest repository of Nike sneakers with links from all over the place. Now let's say I go on a website like SuperKicks where I can buy these sneakers. I now have direct links to those platforms. So that is what SuperKicks is. One of the aggregators that you can buy these shoes. What Sneakopedia does now is, for your end consumer, regardless if it's a student or working professional, when they want to buy those shoes, they now have an all-access site where they can buy any sneaker they want. So the entire ideation from idea to implementation to deployment all happened through Gemini. I sat for about 2 weeks, created the initial code by making a PRD or a project requirement doc, which previously, maybe 2 to 3 years ago, you'd need an entire team to do so. I did that in one night. I didn't sleep. I did it over 6 hours, and I created the initial design for the website. It has. Say I want to buy a particular shoe from a brand, let's say Salomon. I can directly put my parameters. I can change the prices to whatever price I want. On top of that, let's say I want to buy the sneakers later. I have a thing called the Grail Locker, where let's say I want to buy this particular shoe, but I want to buy it, let's say 2 months later. I can add it directly to my Grail's inbox, and I can look at it whenever I want. Additionally, let's say I want to, purchase a sneaker later, I want to just randomly find a shoe. I can press random access and I can get a random sneaker just by pressing it. Let's say I want to buy the shoe now, I can then go on Crepdog Crew, which is another retailer, and I can then buy those shoes. That is the basic idea of the website. If anyone has any doubts, you can ask me. But this is purely just to show that regardless if you're a humanities student, a science student, a commerce student, it's very easy to do those things once you use Gemini, or basically any coding platform. It's basically about the fundamentals that you require. So I think with that, I'll be closing.
I just wanted a Gen Z here because sometimes I feel that when I explain things, the words I use, the terminology may not be getting through. But moral of the story that I wanted to communicate here, guys, is that he doesn't come from a technical background. Okay? And he fumbled a lot. This is not his first project. His first projects were like total failures. Right? Would not start. He could not explain why it is working, why it is not working. Right? But that is the beauty, right? You're severe. You keep trying out different solutions, and with AI it's become easy to try, right? Building a prototype is no longer, you saw full-fledged application in under 10 minutes. So the thing is, the barrier to trying out your ideas is the lowest ever in the history of programming now. So again, I'm sure you guys are already doing it, right? Please go out there and ship at least one product or an idea that you have, check it into GitHub and build that portfolio. That's all I have. I think if there's any other questions, we do offer 2 very, very specialized courses. Maybe I can just quickly cover that also. And one is in the industrial AI and robotics space. Because of the very nature of this course, it is set up as a captive in engineering colleges. Okay, but setting a robotics and machine learning lab for industrial safety in our campus, and this is in partnership with Unique World Robotics, which is the leading robotics education company, and Vector NDT, who is into industrial defect detection, basically non-destructive testing. I don't know whether many of you have heard about it, but this program, it brings together robotics, AI, ML, and actual industry exposure, because the clients are and Sundaram Fasteners, all ancillary. So this project, this is one that we have started. All the information is there on our website, so please do take a look whenever you get the time. Now in its third batch, Thinking Code full stack engineering program. Here we start, like I said at the outset, right? We have two principle, fundamentals first and AI next. So what we do is we take you through this entire thing of UI, what develop, React, Angular, HTML, CSS 101. We take you, the middleware, whether it is Java or Python or whatever the stack that you're looking for, the database layer, and then we give you a project which you build with a real domain problem. So for the last 14 years, we've been working in several regulated industries. Insurance is one of our main domains, and we do have real life problems that we need solving. So what the students get to work on are actual industry problems. They come right here, they sit with our engineers as they know the engineers, and then they get to work on those projects, and then they build that in 3 months. After that, the same project is built using AI, right, with the same sophistication and the guardrails, but this time the difference is your fundamentals are already in place and you're applying those fundamentals to build the application. So this is how you get into AI augmented engineering, the whole stream. The third, starting March 2nd. So if you guys are interested, please reach out to us. Is there, the number and everything is there on our website. And I'm sure this will be a useful entry point into the next stages of your AI augmented development career.
a REST API backend, and that is on Railway. I don't know if you're familiar with Railway. This is what we use. Slightly more technical, but what Railway does is you can create a backend service and set up a Docker file to containerize that service, and Railway will automatically deploy that Docker file if you connect that GitHub repo. So if you go, just like Vercel, you can connect a GitHub repo and deploy a website. In Railway, you can hook up a GitHub repo with a Docker file and it will deploy. So if you see the deployment, this is what it looks like here. So there's a portfolio manager seminar which we've created. That one has your endpoint. The Postgres is also right here. And what the Vercel app does is that it connects to that front end. So if you go to FolioForge in Vercel, you can see that that is connected to the the Railway backend. Portfolio manager. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Anyone else?
the APIs and shoes products that's he was personally?
Yeah. So if you look at the if you look at the whole prompt, you can see that we've specified what exactly the API signature is to be.
That question is for me.
Huh?
What is the question for me?
Yeah, I asked maybe the question is directly to
Oh, okay.
Products trading data.
Oh, that's for Parichai. I see.
I used right now it's not direct. So the direct links is being made using a scraper on Python, which is then getting deployed onto a text file, which then I copy paste into my own database. Right now it's offline, but eventually it will go on to MongoDB or Supabase or whatever, and you can integrate it through that.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, please.
Full disclaimer, I'm not from a computer background. I don't have computer background in any of this. I am actually a neuroscience student, a biotechnologist. And recently AI has been really hot topic around
Yeah.
this. And even modern AI systems, they are inspired from neural networks, right?
Yes.
So I just want to ask you if you have any opinions or if you have any ideas about how we can actually use AI automation specifically within biological field, and after that how we can expand that to more marketable areas, like maybe in the pharmaceutical industries or things like that.
See, that's a very good question. Okay. And most of what we have covered today is down to using existing models to serve developers or build SaaS applications and all that. What you're talking about is how do I create a custom model, right? And that is this field called machine learning, right? Your neural networks and CNNs and all that. So yes, what you will have to do is that first collect all the information. So there would be a specific model that you have in mind that does a specific thing, right? In your field, you must be saying, okay, if I give it this, then the output should be this, right? So you start by first collecting that information, the data set, right? So I'll give you the example of how we've solved it for the industrial AI use case. Very similar problem. So there is a field called non-destructive testing, right? Where there are these tiny automobile parts that these things under UV light, these cracks would stand out, right? And a human being had to physically look at those things and say, okay, this is a crack, this is a fissure, this is a type A crack, and all those kind of things, right? So we just say what we did is we collected all those good images and bad images, right? And then we used machine learning and the algorithm called UNet. It's a segmentation model. And then we classified and segmented and said this is a good, and this is what makes a good image, or this is what makes a bad image. And you train it with, a lot of these things. Sometimes you don't have enough data. So then there is a field called augmentation. You can create synthetic data, right? And then we trained the model and we started testing it out in the field, And there is a lot of value in that because especially in biotechnology and all that, it's very proprietary. Like the companies that work on it, they keep that data with them. So your best bet would be to first try and get access to that kind of a data set. Maybe sign some kind of an MOU or something and build this model out yourself. And for that, AI can, all these LLMs can help you beautifully. Why? Because they are trained on this, right? Like you said. So they understand the very nature of training a CNN. They understand. So what you would need to do, to really look back is these guys are trained on neural networks, the LLMs. Now you ask them to give you the output that you need, given this data set, to get the final model that you're looking for, and they can help you there. It's just like for coding when these guys are doing generation of code, what you need is generation of code that can output the model that you're looking for. I hope that is...
Yeah, you did explain pretty well. I have like one more question.
Sure.
A general question. So if the majority of your workflow is dominated by AI automation, in which particular niche do you think human creativity is valued the most?
See, that's exactly the kind of point, right? So human creativity is where the communication happens, even today. So until AGI comes along, and I don't know when that is going to happen, the quality of your input will determine the quality of your output, right? So it's like saying that if you ask Shakespeare to come up with a paragraph that describes a certain thing, and you ask me to do it, right? There will obviously be that difference. And what we are seeing is that prompt tuning, that intent communication is still very much a very, very specialized field, and the outputs vary widely when there is a quality problem there, right? It may not be very clear when you just look at the output for the first time. But like they say, right, when you're doing something, the last 10% is what takes the most time. So if you don't get your prompt right, or if you don't get that human part of it and get the communication right, your 10% will be huge. You will never ship it. So that's where I think we value your human edge, communication, leadership, vision, right? What do you want to do with this? So 1 year down the line, if you have a clarity of thought saying that this is where I want the product to go, and AI won't tell you that. You can ask AI, what are the 10 things that I can do? It will give you some things, but what is your vision? How are you solving the problem? That's what matters. And see, one of the other things that has become very, very evident now, just like Parichay or any of these folks can build any application today, which means the barrier to entry has become almost nil, isn't it? That means a lot of the problems everyone can solve. But what it also means now is that there are not much of hard problems that are remaining to be solved, which can't be solved with AI. You get my point? So yes, a lot of people can do the same things now because AI is a commodity. But the real value happens when you solve the harder problems. Like whatever has become a 1 billion valuation recently, that OpenClaw, they solved a hard problem. Maybe they used AI to solve that problem, right? But that's the human component there that could think of that problem and said, I want to go after that. It's still very much a thing, despite AI. Identifying which problem to solve and how you're solving it, more important.
I asked that question because there's a lot of apprehension around AI, like AI is going to take our jobs.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting more jobs. But I've always felt that AI will always be humans. It's always going to be a complementary.
Co-intelligence, yes. And I covered that in the first part. Maybe you came in a little late. See, that's where this whole AI replacing jobs is like when the typewriter came also, it said, you will replace jobs. Yes, it will. But those are the traditional jobs that it's going to replace. Like when I started my career, when I didn't know stuff, I would go and search on Stack Overflow or Google something and then put it in my code and then make it work, right? People who still do that, they're screwed. No doubt about it. For them, their jobs will. It's yes, traditional jobs are coming down. People who are refusing to pick up these tools and then competing with AI, their jobs will come down. But every other space, it's going to go up, in my opinion. Sure. Anyone else? Let's see online. Yeah.
So, I'm also a person from a non-engineering background. So I just want to ask you, how should a person from a non-engineering background transition into AI engineering or AI programming? What are the first initial steps to recommend?
Okay. First thing, what is your, have you done any tech, any grounding course or anything so far?
So far I've only explored like bioinformatics side.
Bioinformatics side of things. So depending on which field you want to get into, okay, for example, if you want to get into programming, I would recommend that you cover at least fundamentals of programming, right? If it's a specific language that you're after, and bioinformatics, I'm looking at, I think, more of the statistics and the R and those kind of things, right? You could get into that. If you want to specialize in that, understand the fundamentals of that, right? Then, like I was advising you guys, build a portfolio, start building a portfolio around it. Take a problem that echoes with you, solve it. If you feel confident, connect it to Razorpay, put it live. So why? Because one, using these tools will get you more familiar with them. Second, when you follow the process of shipping, it changes your mindset. You think deeper. You think of the problem, the outcome, rather than just getting stuck with the like the simple. Please sit up. Just focusing on the syntax and smaller things. And the barrier to entry to doing that is negligible. For $20 a month, you can do anything that you want. So don't forget to experiment. I think that's my advice to the new gen. See, when we were getting into this field 25 years back, there was nothing. There was not even Google, or Google had just started coming up. So we literally had to go into the books and understand. I remember first couple of nights in my first job, I was reading Java books in the night. Right? Before next day I have to show up and type some code, right? But nowadays you guys don't have that pressure, right? Think of an idea, go to Cloud Code, write up a prompt, generate an application and then run it. You can tweak it later by reading about how best practices, reading about how to get this into production, and then you can iterate on that. Right? Try and get industry experience. That's another thing. So if it's bioinformatics you're after, talk to these companies, tell them to give you a problem to solve and solve it. I'm telling you guys, no more, it's not going to be about your grades, it's not going to be about degree or anything going forward. Are you a problem solver? Are you a systems thinker? And what have you done to prove that you are? That's it. Because we've got people from all backgrounds now. In thinking code, earlier it used to be only engineering. It's all changed.
Are you from FinSec?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's my advice to anyone who wants to get into this field. There is no barrier to entry. I think we have two humanities students right here in the front. There's no barrier. But fundamentals first. Whatever field you are taking up, understand that. Yami, yeah?
So I have learned Java in my 11th and 12th, so basics are clear. So looking into this, basically the Java language, using any benefit for me if I have?
See, Java language fundamentals are important, like object-oriented programming, right? How you think about a model, right? For example, if you ask AI to generate an application for you, it does, and then you need the ability to look at the code generated and say that, hey, this is not correct, or this is not what I had in mind, right? Essentially the opinion part of it. So whatever you learn will not be a waste. That's 100% sure, right? So keep reading, keep learning. So if you are humanities and now let's say you want to get into programming an application. Is that what you want to be? Is that what you want to do?
Everything is not clear still.
Okay, let's assume that you want to build a website like what we built today. Let's assume, right? Get into that front end, back end database. Like what are the things involved there? Right? Read up on these things. Or even, in fact, another interesting exercise is you open Claude Code or Codex or anything and ask them that this is what I want to do, right? What are the things I should learn? It will also tell you that this is what I should be learning. Get into the details. Going forward, you're all going to be directors, not programmers. You have to direct the AI what is to be done. And I'm telling you, even today it's not perfect. Like in my coding exercise, when we have done our experiments, many times it gets in a loop, right? And you have to put in your opinion and say, did you try this? How do you get that? You only get that because of the fundamentals. Unless AGI comes along, and then all bets are off. I don't know what that future is going to look like. Somebody asked Boris Cherny, the founder of Anthropic, the other day, saying, sir, what do you see 1 year down the line? He said, forget 1 year. It's evolving so fast, I can think of just 1 week. In that 1 week, things have changed. Like Claude 4.5 to Claude 4.6 model. It's a huge change. So, it's a very dynamic environment. Only a few things are going to stay constant. Your human edge is one of them. So humanities is definitely a good starting point. Anyone else? So we will share the GitHub repo. We'll share the seminar recording. I think some fine tuning needs to be done because I think I'm walking around. Any other questions, please reach out to Bridya. She's always available. And if you have any questions on our courses, what's available, when the next batch is starting, you can reach out to her. Glad to help you. And wish you all a fantastic and wonderful career in AI augmented programming going forward, because that's the future. Thanks everyone. One more question. For a full stack website development, not like React for front end and Node Express, single framework is used for full stack website, not like React for front end and Node Express. So I'll take Shiv's question. He's asking, sir, is there any single framework or library which is useful for a full stack website development, not like React for front end and Node Express for back end? There are. But the question is, would you want to do it like that, right? We have used Spring Boot. I don't know if you've heard of it. Spring MVC, where the application front end and the back end is sort of merged into one. Those are what we call the monolithic applications, and they slowly over the last couple of years we've seen that they are being phased out in favor of what are known as microservices, where your backend is a separate deployment which can scale on its own, and your front end is a different deployment that can scale on its own. So that's what I would say. But yeah, again, coming to AI, if you're using AI augmentation in your thing, you can try it out. You can say that I want it to be deployed in one single, like a artifact, and I'm sure it will be able to bundle the whole thing for you. You can try it out, Shiv. Anything else?
So how can I boost my freelance work? So can I book my clients?
1 second. Yeah, how can you boost your freelance work?
By AI and...
So when you say boost what are you looking for?
Like finding more people who want projects from me and boosting my project's efficiency and...
I can definitely help you with boosting your project efficiency, right? And that is by creating what is called as a software factory, right? It's a new concept that was recently coined by StrongDM. Look it up. So what they have done is, in using the generative AI frameworks, they have created components of commonly used frameworks, right? That is, let's say that you have built 10 projects, right? Out of the 10 projects, I'm sure that at least 5 of them will be common. What? It could be payment gateway, it could be your express, your auth layer. So what I've seen efficient consultants do is that they have like a base repo. It's called a turbo repo, where all these common libraries are, made available.
Yes, I used to say that. Yes.
Correct. Then when a new requirement comes, what happens? You only configure the new setup, saying, okay, use this, right? Once you do that, write a prompt. So you should you should start creating, if you work in a particular stack, you can use my prompt as a reference, but start creating very, very well written prompts and keep it ready as a template. Got it? And only the difference that you're trying to do in the new app, you will keep changing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right? And then I think that should, because then you're not building new things, old things again and again. You're just reusing what you already have.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Okay, thank you.
2 more questions from? What is the question?
Can you recommend some web or anything like that able to download data for the
Google Meet. Can you recommend some web or anything like that able to download data for tearing ML or neural training? Yes, you should check Kaggle, for this. Kaggle already has data sets across all the different fields. We use it for our classes as well. For the industrial AI, we use impeller data sets. I'm sure there is a data set there. If that data set is not there, then if that's proprietary data, then your only way is to go and tie up with them and see if they will share it with you. But I think for 70-80%, especially for learning ML, Kaggle is the best bet. Okay, so Shiv says I deploy backend and frontend separately and use API of backend. Yes, that is exactly how you should be doing it, Shiv, because it allows you to scale both of these things independent of each other, right? All right. Any other questions? The BCA people are very silent. What happened? BCA? Okay. I guess that's about it. Thank you everyone for joining me on this Saturday morning. I'm sure you had a lot of other things that you could have done. Thanks for your time. Party by party.